Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about the new revealed Steam machine and its true prices and specs, and the GTA 6 pre-order stuff and the physical copy debacle. And I do use physical copy with great sarcasm because we'll get into it eventually, but that is what we're going to be talking about today. Just those two things for today's video. If you like these types of news videos, I do these on Mondays, so please come over to the channel on Mondays and check it out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it if you do, and use code TechnoJelly for 10% off Poggers.shop, linked in the description. Now let's get right into the video. So starting off with the fact that the GameCube or Steam machine has been revealed with the pricing in it, and unfortunately it is much more expensive than everyone was anticipated. It is $1,049 for the 512 gigabyte version, US dollars, and $1,128 for the 512 with the Steam controller, which, to be fair, is a slight discount on the controller. It is only $79 extra for the controller rather than $99 for the controller itself. And for my Canadian dollar dues, it is $1,509 and $1,628 for the 512 and 512 with controller, which is a lot of money. And unfortunately, we do now know as well that it was supposed to be about $750 US dollars, which is actually in the exact range that I was hoping for the Steam machine to be. But the problem is RAM prices and memory shortages and all that computer terribleness has made it so that it is much more expensive than Valve wanted it to be. It was supposed to be around 700 to 800, but it unfortunately just isn't that, and it costs a lot of money. Now, there is a lot of things I want to say about this, but for what I'm about to say, this is very specific to the certain type of customer, because if you are a person that wants a pre-built PC that doesn't already own a PC that for gaming, the Steam machine is an alright option. It's not a terrible option. I'm sure you can find cheaper stuff, but you are paying the slightly extra cost. Well, I mean, you're paying the slightly extra cost because RAM prices and memory prices are stupid right now, but the extra money for the Steam machine is for the integrated stuff with Steam and the fact that it is the Steam machine, and you know, the controller will work, and it's made also to be on the couch if you want it to be on the couch. It's made for that, right? So that is the person who they're selling this to. Now, unfortunately, like I said earlier, the $750 price tag for the Steam machine would have been perfect, I think. And unfortunately, the market just didn't allow that. So the Steam machine is pretty expensive for what it is, but you are getting a relatively compatible and competitive machine for the price in US dollars. In Canadian dollars, it is a lot more expensive, I feel like, and maybe it isn't as much. It just depends, because some of the pre-built PCs you can get are very cheap, at least here. But then there are questionable parts that sometimes are in those types of things, and the parts that are in the Steam machine aren't questionable at all. You're like, this thing will work and it will run fine. It is, like all the headlines do say, it is not as powerful as a PS5, but it is more than a PS5, because I've seen a lot of people say like, oh man, like you should just buy a PS5 if you want that. Yeah, but like the PS5 isn't a PC. Like, this is a PC. This is a pre-built PC. Sure, it is also being sold as you can also use it as a console, like you can use it on the TV and stuff like that, but it's still a PC. So like, I'm not entirely sure why they are being compared, at least so aggressively in price, because PCs have always been more expensive than consoles, because the PC does more things than the console, which makes sense. And I'm not even trying to necessarily defend Valve here, but it's just weird to me that like, yeah, like even other pre-built PCs are more expensive than the PS5, and those are generally not as powerful as the PS5 as well. So it's strange to me that they're so aggressively targeting like, oh, it's weaker than a PS5. Yeah, but it also does more than a PS5. It's also just a PC tower, you know, like you can just use it as a computer if you really wanted to. So that's a little strange, I feel like, to compare those things to so hard. Like, I'm not saying you can't compare it, but like yes, it is more expensive, but almost every PC is more expensive than a console. Like, that isn't breaking news, I feel like, which is strange. And that might be just Twitter being Twitter and just people being hating on Valve for some reason, or just the concept of the Steam machine in general. And I do feel like the cost of the Steam machine at this price point is the biggest problem, because if this was $750, it would have been fine. Like, this would have been actually a really good kit for $750, but for a over $1,000 price tag, tag, it is a lot. And the problem is that's when you have to start getting with the asterisks. So like, okay, yes, this is more expensive than most gaming consoles, but once again, it is a PC, and it's also small for a PC. Like, it is a mini gaming PC, and compact PCs cost more than the Steam PC right now. So like, you also have to kind of go into that. So it is one of those things where, once again, unfortunately, because of this extra cost, you do have to ask this question. So if you don't have a gaming PC and you want a gaming machine that isn't just a console, I think the Steam machine is a good purchase. But if you already have a gaming PC, there's little reason to own a Steam machine, because at this price, I don't think, like, unless cost was never the problem, I don't think this is worth buying for your couch. And like, unless you're the type of person that's you're totally fine with that, you're like, yeah, I'm willing to pay that, then that's totally up to you. I'm not criticizing you in any way. But thinking of like this, like, I'm like, yeah, would I personally? I have a gaming PC, you know, my gaming PC is good. I bought it years ago, and luckily I was able to upgrade stuff before it all went super crazy, and I'm really lucky in that factor. So do I think that this is going to affect someone like me? And the answer is not really. But I am also in the upper percentage of their customer base. I am maybe not the 1%, but I'm definitely maybe top 10% when it comes to PC specs. So I don't think they're selling this machine to me. This was going to be like, maybe if I buy it for, like, you know, when I go with the guys and we're doing LAN party stuff or whatever type of stuff, you know, like that type of stuff, because it's really small. It's 6 inches. It's a 6-inch cube, which is incredibly small, and it's incredibly compact. So like, it's kind of made to be moved around and put on the right beside the consoles and stuff like that. So for that type of thing, I can still see it. The problem is that now it's a harder sell to the people who already own a PC, which is most of the Steam community, right? So you're trying to get people outside of the Steam ecosystem already, and I'm not sure if this price point is going to convince them, because it's so much more expensive than a console, because that's the people you're going after. You're going after console gamers, and the console gamers, they don't care about my explanation of it is also just a PC, because they have a laptop, they have a phone, you know, they don't necessarily care for PC stuff necessarily. So that's going to be a big question. I think a big thing that a lot of people are also pointing out, and I've seen a bunch of articles in IGN and stuff, like people like that talk about, is like, this is also a Steam, like a console that you don't have to pay for online. Like, you just hook it up to the network and it works. You don't have to pay for Xbox Live or PS or PlayStation Online or anything like that, or the Nintendo Online stuff. So like, it is a console that is ready to go out of the box. You just got to hook it up and you're good to go. Just hook it up to the Wi-Fi and or Ethernet cables or whatever you're doing. It has gigabit and Ethernet ports. It has Bluetooth. It has Wi-Fi 6. So it has all the stuff that you would need for that. So that is good. The power of the machine, once again, is a slight problem, but this is also a PC. So a lot of PC games have fixed menus and so you can turn down the graphics, unlike console games, though console games are starting to catch up when it comes to like, hey, let's turn the graphics down a little bit, because we don't need the 4K textures on my regular 1080p monitor or regular TV. Though to be fair, 4K TVs are becoming more standard. So I do feel like that is the case when it comes to this Steam machine. It is really unfortunate that it is this expensive, and when you also find out that it wasn't supposed to cost this much, it was supposed to cost at most $800. Probably they're probably aiming for $750 before the memory shortages and the RAM prices increase because of all the stupid AI stuff that no one cares about and no one wants, which is really unfortunate, because I think that would have been an excellent price point. I've been talking about this multiple times, and that was even cheaper than I said my optimistic price was. My optimistic price, I think, was $900 to $1,000 with the memory shortage stuff, and unfortunately I was correct in the over $1,000, but it seems that they were aiming for even lower, which is insane. And it makes sense with the hardware that it was. It's just that some of the components that they used all of a sudden cost $400+ more sometimes, depending on the prices, right? So it's really unfortunate. And if the Steam machine fails, in my opinion, it is AI's fault, not the Steam machine itself. Because if this thing came out at $750, I think it would have been perfectly fine, because that is a reasonable price for this thing. And honestly, I would say it's a steal at that, because it is just as expensive as some of the consoles, so a little bit more expensive than some of them, but also it is not just a console, it is also a PC, and you don't have to deal with some of the online stuff like the Xbox or Sony or Nintendo stuff. You just plug it in, log into your Steam account or making a Steam account, and there you go. So that is so far what's happening with the Steam machine. Like I said, for me personally, because it's so expensive here in Canada, I am not going to be getting it. I was interested in it, but unfortunately it's just not for me. So I'm out of the target range, but I hope that enough people are going to get it. I've heard it's selling pretty well in other places, like in Japan and stuff like that in the early days. So hopefully it does well other places. And it seems like at least at this price point, it's okay at some places, but we'll see. This is definitely going to be a wait and see, and I'll update everyone on when we get more sales figures or if they try to lower the price in any way. Moving on to one of the bigger stories of this year and probably going to be for a long time until it actually comes out. GTA 6 pre-orders it, and just the extra editions have been coming out. And unfortunately, Rockstar is doing something really scummy in my opinion, because first of all, they're selling the game at $80, 80 US dollars, which is stupid and it shouldn't be a thing, especially for GTA 6 and Rockstar. They have made enough money. You can't tell me that $80 is going to do anything. You're going to have microtransactions in the game. Don't lie to me. But even with that stupidity, one of the bigger things as well is that the Ultimate Edition, which is $100, has shops in the game locked behind it. A Rideout Customs mod shop, a Sarah's Unisex Saloon, a hair salon, Stock 305, which is a clothing store, Electric Fan Tattoo, which is a tattoo shop, and One-Eyed Willie's, which is a mod shop. These 5 shops are locked behind a paywall, potentially, in the Unlimited Edition. We technically do not know if you can just unlock them in the Standard Edition, but right now it looks like the only way to get them, because obviously we don't have the game, the only way to get access to this stuff is to pay the extra $20 for, in total, $100 for these 5 shops. Now, I'm sure these aren't the only shops in the game, obviously, but it's weird that they've locked this behind it, because it is unnecessary, I feel like. Because, like, if they are giving away skins or outfits and stuff like that, I don't think people would have batted an eye. But the fact entire shops are being locked behind an Ultimate Edition that costs $100 is kind of ridiculous, especially with the add-on effect that the physical edition of GTA 6 isn't physical at all. It is reportedly going to be only a digital code, which means why on earth would anyone buy the physical edition of GTA 6? You're buying the box and that's it. Like, there's literally no reason to buy this game physically. Like, there's no reason to go to a store. There's no reason to line up. Just wait for it, wait until it's availability online and then download it. Because even if you were like, oh, but what if the servers crash or something like that? Well, that doesn't matter because it's a digital code anyway. So if the servers crash, then you're out of luck anyway. So, like, there's no point to even going out and buying this game. Like, there's no physicalness to it at all. In fact, I feel like they shouldn't be calling it the physical version. There's no physical version of it at all. It's just you're buying a digital code at a store. That's literally the only difference. So it's really dumb. And man, I just feel so bad for any of the GTA fans right now, because I know a lot of them are super excited for GTA 6. I mean, I'm excited for GTA 6. I'm not going to buy it on console, so I'm waiting for PC probably a year from now, maybe even 2, depending. And that's going to also be when they probably have the online stuff on and when the terrible microtransactions are going to be there. So it's really dumb that they're doing this to the console people, especially with how long sometimes downloads take on consoles, because that's going to take so long on console to download this thing, because the game's going to be huge, and especially considering how game devs don't understand how to optimize their game size files anymore, or they just stopped trying. So, like, it's going to be huge, and I feel bad for anyone using the smaller storage size consoles, because it's going to be so expensive in that case. And it really sucks that if you want all the content, you have to buy the $100 edition. I feel like that's the true edition of the game. The standard edition is just the edition that they want to get people with, and then have people realize that you don't have all the stuff. I really hope that they're going to be able to actually just unlock this stuff at least in the regular edition, and it's not just a paywall, but I don't expect them to do that. I honestly truly expect them to have the Ultimate Edition just be the only way to actually access any of these shops. At least they're mod shops, I guess, and a clothing store and a tattoo store and stuff like that. So it's just generally cosmetic things. But the problem is just like everything else, since the Bethesda horse armor, this has been a slippery slope that's been slowly going down, constantly snowballing and avalanching over the time, because this is also a game that's going to have a cash shop and microtransactions like crazy. So, like, it's just dumb. And it's also Rockstar. You don't need to nickel and dime your players. You literally are one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, and you make the most money in gaming probably at all. So it's really dumb that this is a thing. And I really hope that, like, something gets done. But unfortunately, it's one of those things where I am complaining, but we all know that it's not going to matter, because GTA 6 is going to be the best-selling game when it comes out, and probably the best-selling game for the next 4 years, potentially. Like, it's going to be the best-selling game, period. The hype is truly real. And even if GTA 6 is a mediocre game, it's still going to sell like crazy because a mediocre GTA game is still a decent game. And even if it's just a slightly upgraded engine and like all that type of stuff, like for me personally, I really hope they upgrade the combat because the GTA 5 combat is really old. And like even the Red Dead 2 combat is still really old as well. So their shooting mechanics and stuff like that has been outdated since GTA 4, it feels like. So I really hope they update with that. But I'm not really doing for much hope. It's never been generally about the combat in GTA. So I don't have high hopes. But you never know. Like with the standard and ultimate editions, it's not looking good for my optics of what I really hope that the GTA 6 is good. I'll be there day one watching it and seeing what people think about it, but I will not be playing it because I just don't trust Rockstar because they're a crazy greedy company and who knows. I don't think they're gonna release an unfinished game, but I just don't trust them. So I'm in this weird sense. Maybe when it comes to PC or when it goes on sale at some point in the future, because I got GTA 5 on sale on PC eventually. And hey, I enjoyed GTA 5, but I'm also basically only played the single player because I don't care about GTA Online. I really don't care at all. So we'll have to see. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. Once again, if you liked this type of content, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Please like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it. I completely understand. If you like to support me directly, please go over to my Patreon at patreon.com/technoagility. We do a once a month live stream that you can all vote on, as well as getting your name in the credits that are scrolling by right now. If you want to support super directly, please go over to poggers.shop. Linked in the description. You can use code technojelly if you want to. You get 10% off of any of their purchasable items like their energy drink mixes, hydration drink mixes, as well as their sleep aid mixes and their shaker cups. 10% off using code technojelly, linked in the description at poggers.shop. Thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. Click or tap my face for more videos. I have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads, all at the Technojelly, and I'll see you in either of those videos or any of those places. Goodbye, everyone.